hate to break it to you, but getting into cybersecurity is not a good idea right now if you're following the path everyone online is telling you to take. And I'm going to give you the exact steps that you should take to get into cybersecurity from someone who's actually in the industry. Everyone and their mother tells you to get Network Plus, Security Plus, CYSA Plus, do some try hack me, maybe some cloud, apply to 100 jobs daily, and you'll get a job. And it sounds pretty reasonable. That's exactly what thousands of other beginners are doing, which means you're competing in the most crowded lane possible with nothing to separate you and nothing that makes you stand out. I was doing this exact same thing not long ago, and my goal in this video is to give you the clarity to finally break in with some actionable steps that you can take. This isn't another bullshit guide telling you what certs to get and what experience you need to actually get into cybersecurity. These are going to be actionable steps you can take based off my personal experience. So the first thing I want to talk about, and there's really three things, right? The first one's going to be why the traditional route just doesn't work anymore. The second one is going to be why I'm passionate that cybersecurity should be a career choice for you. And number three, all the amazing things cybersecurity has done for me. So diving into the first topic, right? Traditional advice. So every time I scroll through Instagram or watch a YouTube video, I see this guy telling me to get this cert, or this other guy telling me to get that cert, or this other guy telling me to go and try hack me and do these 3 rooms. And the problem I have with these pieces of advice is that in my personal experience, actually being in the field now for over 7 years, I just don't think that having 3 certs and no actual skill set, no hands-on experience, nothing is enough to get you the job. Because when an employer or you sit down into an interview and they ask you to go through an incident you've been through or to do this other thing, work through an alert. How would you work through an alert? This happens. What are the steps you're going to take? Your Security Plus is not going to prepare you for that. I hate to break it to you, man. Security Plus is the most foundational, basic, and introductory cert in the game. And don't get me wrong, it's an HR check mark for sure. If we don't have this cert, you're going to have a harder time actually getting to the interview stage. That's something for later to talk about. But going back to the point, right? Certs don't get you a job or even prove that you can do the job. And that's the fundamental reason people are having issues getting jobs in cybersecurity these days. Because employers are waking up and they're realizing the guy that has Security Plus, Network Plus, CYSA Plus, he's probably never even touched a real alert or an incident in his entire life. So when it comes down to the actual sauce, he's not going to be able to know what to do with it, right? He's not going to be able to make the spaghetti and meatballs and put the sauce in there to make sure it's made correctly and tastes perfect. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the skill set, you don't have the skill set. A piece of paper saying how to do something doesn't really mean anything in this industry. And furthermore, right, everyone giving this advice thinking it's actually useful when in reality it just leaves you with nothing, because you go watch your 20 YouTube videos about how to get into cybersecurity, everyone's saying something different, and now you've wasted 4 hours of your life and you have still no idea what the first thing you should do is. And this is actually an issue I come across a lot with people that I've talked to who want to get into this space. They always ask me, where should I start? What do I need to do to get into cybersecurity? And honestly, it's a lot simpler than you may think. Despite all the millions of YouTube videos out there telling you what to do, you would think people would have a lot more clarity on this, but they actually have less clarity because it comes down to there's so much information, so many different paths you can go down that you actually just don't know what's right and what's wrong given your goals, right? So it's really interesting that watching we have all these information on how to get into cybersecurity, yet the actual path to getting there and landing a job is still ambiguous. It's still not clear for many people. And I was in a similar situation that most of you watching this video are probably in, right? I love video games, which is why you're seeing video games on the screen. Halo 2, Halo 3, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, the prime gaming years of 2008 all the way up to 14-ish, something like that. I was a hardcore gamer, right? And I spent a lot of time gaming, and I thought a lot about where I wanted to go in life, right? How can I make six figures, right? That's the whole thing people are talking about online these days, is how you can make insane amounts of money to be financially free. And I watched a show called Mr. Robot, and it was all about hacking, and I was like, you know what? This looks freaking dope. So I decided to get into cybersecurity, and I started Googling, YouTubing how to get into cybersecurity. Granted, at that time, there was a lot less content than there is now on the subject. But really, what I discovered was YouTube wasn't getting me what I needed. And I needed to actually lock in and just get things done, because YouTube has this funny way of making you feel like you're making progress, but you're actually just watching videos and nothing gets done, right? So that's something to keep in mind. But where am I going with this story, right? So anyways, fast forward a few years, I'm in college, making $9 an hour at Chipotle, working 8, 9, 10 hours a day, breaking my back. Well, I guess it was part-time, so I wasn't working that much, but it was still really hard work. I was washing dishes in the back, and so I was like, dude, this can't be it, right? I have to be able to make more money, do what I want to do, and all that good stuff. So then I started looking into cybersecurity, and we'll come back to this story in a little bit, but I want to fast forward now to talk about cybersecurity's career path and all that stuff. So cybersecurity is a six-figure runway. It's a career path that will get you to over $100,000 a year if you do it right, if you have the right guidance and you know what you need to do. And granted, there's a lot of people in this space that will help you out if you just ask them and you do networking. But anyways, it's pretty much guaranteed to make six figures. You just got to spend 5 to 10 years in the space. Granted, you could probably do it sooner, but it's a lot harder when you just got to put in the reps realistically. In my experience, it's been super rewarding and a stimulating job, especially for people, if you're like me, who like problem solving, puzzles, gaming. It's pretty similar skill sets, because when the sauce hits the fan, for lack of a better word, you're going to be investigating and trying to find out and piece together what exactly happened, how the incident occurred, and basically how the hackers were able to get into the environment, and then making sure that you come up with good defenses and a good plan so that the next time they can't do the same exact thing. And it goes back to gaming, right? If you want to get better at a game, let's just take Halo for example, you want to die less, right? If you're dying less, you're getting more kills and you're scoring more points for your team, or objective points, whatever it is. So every time you die, you're going to instinctively think, why did I die and how can I not die again in that same way? Obviously, it's unavoidable to die in these games. I don't think, well, it's possible to not die, but at that level of gaming that is required to do that, it's very high. But anyways, for example, if you see three people and then on your first life, you just run in there, throwing grenades, shooting everyone, and you die, which obviously is most likely to happen, then you're gonna most likely think, if you're not retarded, that if I see three enemies grouped up, maybe I shouldn't run into them with a chicken with my head cut off and try to take them all on. So the next time you see that exact same scenario, you're more likely to survive because you know exactly what you did wrong the first time, so you can avoid that. And cybersecurity is the same exact way, right? And basically it just comes down to a cat and mouse game of hacker hacks company, or whatever. Company does review on the incident, finds out how hacker hacked them, patches that exact route so that it can't happen again, and repeat that process. That is cybersecurity in a nutshell. And also, when I say cybersecurity, that is a very broad term. There is a bunch of different niches, roles, specializations you can take in this industry. And then with everything that happened with COVID a few years back, a bunch of remote opportunities popped up, right? So cybersecurity is one of those careers where you could be at home, roll out of bed, open your laptop, log in, type in your team chat, good morning, and just cruise through the day, doing your daily duties and making sure you are being a good cybersecurity professional. This is exactly what my life looks like right now. I can literally, I just roll out of bed, turn my laptop on, and I'm working. I don't gotta commute. I don't got to spend money on gas, which is insanely overpriced right now. So I don't got to spend hours in traffic. All these things that you're probably dealing with right now, going to your minimum wage job or just dead end white collar job, I don't have to deal with anymore. And that's why I want to present cybersecurity to you, is because I believe it's something that, one, it's not difficult to get into as long as you have the right path, the non-standard path, because no one's doing that, right? If you have a secret that gives you leverage and an edge against the general population, you will win 9 out of 10 times. And that's exactly what I wanted to present to you in this video. So the last, or not the last thing, but I also want to talk about and deliver on what I told you in the beginning of this video, right? Is basically this system, give you a system that works. So what I've done is I've actually created a community called the Cyber Vanguard Order. And yes, this is a promotion, but it's for my own community. And I wouldn't be putting this in the video if I didn't believe that it was something that was going to help you in the long run. And essentially what this community is designed to do is give you a clear start point and finish point. So you go to this community, you join, you open it up, and the first module and video you're going to even look at is going to give you the exact template that you need to get to where you need to go. And what I'll even do is help you out by telling you exactly what's in that module. I'm most likely going to summarize it because I just off the top of my head can't say it word for word, because that'd be pretty weird if I could. But essentially there's 3 things you need to do, right? The first one is determine the role you want to get into, right? So cybersecurity, like I mentioned, is super broad. So you want to determine, I want to be a security analyst, I want to be a security engineer, I want to do GRC. Once you have that, it becomes a lot easier to focus in on what you need to do. So I personally help people become security analysts because that's where I started in security. So I know exactly what it takes to land a role there, the skill set that's necessary, and everything you're going to need in order to be job ready. The next step is actually getting you the skill set and credentials required to basically just be so confident in interviews that you can do the job, that it just, your aura just freaking intrudes off your Zoom screen. Or if you're on a in-person interview, you walk in there just like, this is the guy, we're gonna hire him on the spot. That's the goal of the second step of what my community and course helps you with. And so think of this like hands-on project, boot camp, not live project workshops, where I'm basically on a Zoom call for 4 hours, helping you step by step, setting up projects and things that I've actually done in real security positions. I'm going to be giving you projects based off that, so that when you go into interviews, you have experience to talk off of. And the last step is basically just developing your people skills. Because one thing I've noticed is that people, like I used to be, people are just not good with people skills. And realistically, what's going to get you the job over more times than not is going to be how well you can communicate, how well you can sell your skill set, and just how likable you are as a person. And so if you don't have those 3 things, you can have the greatest skill set in the world, but you will still be operating at a loss. And so doing those 3 things is a lot easier said than done, but having a step-by-step framework with a week-by-week, day-by-day breakdown of exactly what you need to be doing is going to help you, because you will stop wasting time, stop wasting money, and you'll be able to get to your end goal even quicker. And so what I want to do is just provide you, what I want to do now is just talk about one of the greatest things that I've achieved by becoming a cybersecurity professional. This profession, I work remotely, has allowed me to travel the world Wow. To travel the world to the extent that I've traveled probably more than 90% of people in the world. I've been to almost every European country. I've been to Asia. I've been to South America. I've been to Central America, Caribbean islands, pretty much everywhere in the world. The only one I haven't gone to yet is Australia. Oh, I've also been to Africa as well. So Australia is the only continent I haven't touched yet, but working on that. But I've been able to travel so much because of the flexibility of this role. And it's allowed me to achieve financial freedom in a way I never even thought possible when I was working at Chipotle. I had to basically budget so hard that I had to calculate how much I was going to overdraft my account so that when my next paycheck hit, I would actually just stay positive and have enough to eat. And now I can basically go out to dinner anywhere I want and not really have to worry about not having money because the money's coming in pretty nicely every single month. Now I'm currently making like a year. So going from $9 an hour all the way up to 120 a year is absolutely insane. But that's what I want to provide you the opportunity with and also the guidance and clarity to get there. And could keep rambling on and on for hours and hours about how great cybersecurity is and how much it's changed my life. But I don't want you to sit here and keep wasting yours watching this video when you could be out there executing. So what I'm going to do is actually link a free 30-day skill up challenge that you can do. It's actually something I offer in my community, but as a thank you for watching this video and basically just out of my want to help more people achieve the things that I've achieved, I'm going to give it to you for free. If it's something that you like, consider joining the community. It's linked down below. And in there, you have live Q&As, there's one-to-one mentoring, there's pretty much everything and every resource you're going to need to be able to break into cybersecurity within the next 6 months. And so if you're really serious about making this change in your life, getting to financial freedom, stop feeling lost and stuck in your life like you're not making enough money, then I'd highly suggest taking that free 30-day skill up challenge, dedicating an hour or two a day to it, and just making consistent progress. But yeah, that's everything I wanted to cover today. See you guys in the next one.